Hey folks, it's Maxie here and welcome to a brand new TEW2020 video. You join us today for our first pay-per-view of 2027 and it is AEW Beach Break. A few good matches here, a few storylines that will continue on, and hopefully we can kick off the new year with a bang basically. We've got a Beach Break and then we're going to head on and we'll have our Valentine's themed show after. We then move on to the All Women show and then we are going to have usually the Free For All series, but I think this year we're going to go with AEW Free For All, Who's House. So that maybe give you an idea of who I'll try to push towards the main event for that. I'll let you think of that yourselves. But last year's show, we had a main event that saw Ricky Starks and Sami Zayn take on Adam Page and Kenny Omega. We also had Walter defend the World Championship against Ua Nation. Interesting. Swerve against Eddie Kingston, Elena Black against Jamie Hayter, Kairi Hojo taking on Demi Bennett and Takuma Aroa. So some pretty good matches in there. Takeshita against Bryan Danielson. So last year was pretty good. Other main events have been for Beach Break. Let's have a wee quick nosy. MJF v Darby. 2024 saw Kenny Omega versus CM Punk. 2023 saw Hangman versus Punk. With a lot of poor matches there. I don't know if we just kind of gambled that the main event was going to be good and everything else was a bit ugh. And then in the first year we done it, 81, so we were still building people up and getting people over with Kenny defending against Ray Fenix. So pretty decent. But I don't think we'll have the best main event. It is a stipulation one. We're obviously going to the beach, but we're bringing some tables, ladders and chairs for our main event. Proper blow-off matchup between Eddie Kingston and of course the AEW World Champion Cody Rhodes. But a few other things that are kind of looking towards the future. Obviously I realise there's a lot of people in the save that are going to hit physical decline, aren't going to be what we need in the future, and we do need to start building some new stars. So sit back, relax and enjoy AEW Beach Break 2027. So welcome everyone to the Memorial Stadium in front of 81,768 fans. We have a hype package documenting the long-standing feud between Eddie Kingston, the World Champion Cody Rhodes, and of course his stablemates Randy Orton, Richard Holiday and Wardlow. They've had many brutal matches, but this is the one that should end the feud. Who will be victorious in the TLC match? It is an 86 rated hype package. Our opening contest was for the All Atlantic Championship, and Carmelo Casanova was defending against Penta, and he picks up the win over Penta in 12:42 with the Fedora Frog Splash, and it gives him his 14th defence of the All Atlantic Championship. So we're continuing to raise the prestige of the belt. We're continuing to get the popularity of Carmelo over. And yeah, he feels like he's gloating a little bit after the matchup. He decides to just start beating Penta down, just showing how dominant he really is. But this actually leads to his brother, Ray Fenix, coming out, and he chases off Carmelo Casanova, saving Penta from a serious beating. So the reason for doing this one is we'll have a few matches between Carmelo and Ray Fenix. For some reason, I've obviously changed my mind at one point, but the Lucha Bros were on different brands. I want them back together. My tag division's thriving, so that was my way of getting Phoenix back over to Dynamite. Because I mean, you look at this tag division we've got in Dynamite, you know, practically nearly everybody on there, and that's given us the likes of the Young Bucks, FTR, the Faction, and Goblin Abla as the Briscoes. So I think I might just even make, because Dynamite's 3 hours, make that the tag team show, and put an emphasis on an up-and-comers on Rampage. But overall, pretty happy with that. We then moved on to a matchup for the AEW Trios Championship, and it saw the team of Randy Orton, Wardlow and Richard Holiday defeat the Dark Order, Alan Angels, alongside Reynolds and Silver, and they win in 10:29 when Wardlow pinned Alan Angels following a Splash Mountain Powerbomb. So a second defence for them. You can see here Holiday win 87, so he's obviously going to be the breakout star in the group. Wardlow is kind of restricted, and obviously Randy's on the way down. But it just gives him a victory here. Probably a division I need to establish a wee bit better as my Trios division. But good stuff there from Cody's lackeys. I then had a little segment here where the champion, Isaiah Cassidy, the Zero X champion, was being a bit arrogant, saying, you know what, I'm going to defend this belt against anybody who wants to step up and challenge me, someone that's never had a chance before. Lee Johnson's been doing some pretty good stuff in Impact, the development company, so I felt like give us a bit more depth, give us some of that younger generation, so he can add a bit more depth to the Zero X Division Championship picture. And yeah, 55 was the promo when he accepts it, and the match itself, it was decent. Isaiah Cassidy defeats Lee Johnson at 11:32 by pinfall. Second defense of the belt, pretty solid 72. Happy with that one. Again, it's just kind of like getting these people a bit of momentum, because as much as they're maybe a bit low on the card just now, my Prince Devitt's etc. are only going to be lasting forever, and you are going to have to look to fill that out over time. And then eventually, one day, I promise, the generated wrestlers will actually take more interest in them, proper name changes, gimmick changes, give them pictures, and we'll go for there. I know really at the moment we'll only really focus on Veronica, but there'll be other ones that we'll start to focus on further down the line. Because I feel like if I want to get my achievement of getting all these 100 rated matches to complete the game, then that's something I'm going to have to start looking at now. A little segment backstage, Adam Cole, Baby, Jay White, and of course the Young Bucks. It's kind of like a team meeting for the Super Elite. They say, right, this hasn't really been going to plan. You know, we've obviously had the mess around with Kevin, we've had the mess around with Hangman. It's the four of us. No championships. Why is everybody getting the better hand is? Hopefully that changes tonight. Hopefully Nick and Matt Jackson can pick up the win in this triple threat match for the World Tag Team Championships alongside the Briscoes and of course LFI. But Jay White says basically if they don't win there, there may be more changes ahead for the Super Elite. We had a fatal 4-way matchup for the TNT Championship. Now basically on Rampage, because obviously the World Champion has predominantly been on Dynamite, I've really focused on getting these guys having spectacular matches on Rampage. So you're always going to usually get a Takeshita or a Bandito or a Swerve or a Malachi. They're banging matchups. So I keep rotating main eventers. I don't really go for gaining pop on that show. It's just a case of having bangers after banger after banger, as Sheamus would say. But these have all had good runs of Forum, and it was about that superb wrestling and great heat. And it saw Swerve defeat Bandito, Malachi, and Takeshita in 13:54 when Swerve pinned Bandito with the Swerve Stomp, meaning your new TNT champion is Swerve Strickland. So as you can see there, Swerve for the weakest performance. I feel that I can now take Takeshita and Malachi especially above the TNT championship. Bandito, I'm still kind of in the middle of where he is. Like, he's not the most over, but the technical and aerial aspects obviously are carrying him to fantastic matches. So we'll go with Swerve. We're going to push Swerve, and there'll be good things ahead, at least for some of the other guys that will be explained over time. Don't want to give too much away, but 86 pretty solid, and yeah, TNT Championship, because that's the thing, you want to buy build lineages, with the championship belts. You know, you don't want to have like one champion. You know, you want to go, oh, he's a champion, he was a champion. You know, properly, like, so when they retire, I've got like a lot of people. Because one thing I noticed my saves is I've never one that gives somebody like multiple title reigns. I think the most I've had maybe like it's been the tag division. I've had two that have been like 4 and 3, but very rarely is it like a 2-time world champion. I mean, you look at it in real life where it's like, oh, here's 15-time world champion. 16-time John Cena. I thought he's leveled it. He's not broke. He's leveled it, or he's not below it. Orton 13-time, and it's like, I'm lucky if I've ever given MD a double reign. Because I just keep going, right, next person's chance to run, next person's chance to run. Like, it's took 2027 before Cody to even get his run. Just one thing to look at. Next up was also from the Rampage brand. The plan was the winner of this matchup was going to challenge for the AEW World Championship. These two have been at it all the time. Just basically, obviously, two completely different characters, two completely different people. So, of course, the best way to do it was an exceptional matchup. Saw them draw with a double count out after 20 minutes. So, at 79, obviously, you're going to lose a bit of your match rating for the finish, because I don't think draws are particularly well looked. Oh, Moxley's got low morale. But yeah, it's going to build to something. But pretty poor it was only a 79 between those two. But a wee bit, it was kind of like, here's just something to do, basically. But after the matchup, they're obviously on the outside for a double count out, and they just keep fighting. And they keep fighting. And they keep fighting all the way to the back. Security can't stop. Wrestlers that are obviously not in the card can't stop them. It's just a constant brawl. And that gives us an 87. We then move along to the matchup for the vacant AEW Women's World Tag Team Championships, and it was a decent matchup that saw the team of Roxy and Mercedes Money defeat Tam Nakano and Takumi Iroha, Camille and Julia Hart, and Liviana Morgan and Sarah Rowe in 12:23 when Roxy pinned Sarah Rowe. New champions, of course, and that is Roxy and Mercedes Money. 70 overall. So obviously we had the breakup of Veronica and Simone Johnson. I didn't want Veronica to take any sort of pinfall, so I had to vacate them. Julia and Camille are obviously together because of the partnership with Charlotte. Charlotte's obviously developmental because she's just going to let her contract run out there, but they were her two proteges, so that's why they're there. Liv and Sarah was just two people in the same brand that had a previous connection, and for the last couple of weeks I've kind of went, even though she's a heel, I feel like Mercedes sees Roxy as a protege, and obviously that's what she says she are, so she's like, she knows that she's not going to be a threat to her or anything, and she can also use her to kind of get victories, etc. And it also gives us a good chance to have good matches with Mercedes, but at the same time properly develop Roxy at a faster rate to properly accelerate her development. So they're the tag champs, and I need to actually start putting together women's tag teams and properly making a go at this division, because I've got the numbers for it, but maybe just not enough creatively. Which again is probably a staple where I just go, I want great matches, but leave the storylines to the back burner. After it, just a wee promo, just obviously celebrating and mocking everyone. Obviously, there's a big difference in popularity, but Mercedes will carry Roxy in this kind of promo. Obviously, she's going to be using her unscripted promos because Mercedes hates them. So I'm hoping, the popularity-wise, that Mercedes can really rub off on Roxy, and if we just keep giving her matches and matches and matches, it'll help develop her skill set. That's the aim, anyway. Next up is a superb matchup between Tyler Black and El Hijo del Vikingo. So in this one, basically, Vikingo was fighting Ben Carter, of course, Tyler Black's protege, and Tyler Black made the jump from Carnage to Dynamite to obviously beat down. He'd done everything he needed to do in Carnage without being champion, and I just felt like I just get him back onto the main two rosters. So beat him down. We've had our matchup here, and it was a superb matchup, as I thought it would be, with Tyler winning in 14:59 using underhanded tactics. 86, and that's with Vikingo off his game. So pretty good stuff there. Maybe more legs in this feud going forward. Next up, we have some words from Chris Jericho. Now, because I'm at that stage now, I just don't even type out angles. It's just rather easier for me to explain. He's basically said that we're going to need new contenders for the World Championship, but he feels MJF done a great job, he feels John Moxley done a great job, and because he wasn't pinned in losing his championship, and it was a fantastic reign, he feels Malachi Black's done a good job. So he's basically telling us, at the February event, the romance is dead. It will be the AEW World Champion, whether that be Eddie Kingston or Cody Rhodes, who'll take on MJF, John Moxley, and Malachi Black for the World Championship in a fatal four-way. So there we go. The good thing there is, that means, effectively, we've given 6 or 7 people a championship match in the last 2 months, because obviously the fatal four-way had at the tail end of the year. Chris also lets a hint of we're also trying to get some of the younger talents further pushed. There is negotiations for a mentor to come in. Basically, I've had an idea. I'm going to hint at my idea. I don't know if they will resign, but there's somebody I'm going to bring in to try and push along the next generation. I've not even attempted these negotiations, so they might even reject me and not speak to me. But I'll find out soon, and I'll let you know if that materialises or not. So 84 for that from Chris. Triple threat match for the AEW Tag Team Championships, and LFI just keep putting on banger after banger. The reality with LFI is basically Rush is good to go for the main event. He could go chasing the championship again, but I feel like what him and Andrade are doing is just spectacular. Putting them in with anybody. I could take out the Briscoes, I could put in Stina Rico, I could put in FTR, and it would still be a banger. So superb wrestling, good heat. LFI defeat the Briscoes and the Bucks. Look at Matt and Nick, they're 97 and 94. And their overness is only mid-70s at a pop cap. But Andrade pinned up Jay Briscoe with the Burley anti-driver, giving them their 7th defence of the AEW World Tag titles. 87, Rush was off his game, still gave us an 86, and Mark Briscoe was the weak link. But overall, stellar stuff from our tag division. Then had Demi Bennett down to ringside. She is going to be a guest commentator for this one. So basically it is a little feud I've had going between Veronica and of course Mayu Iwatani. I felt like she's pushed herself to the limits. Veronica, let's get her wrestling with the best. Let's see if she can be carried to a great matchup while we let her skill set develop. I don't know if I'm quite going to push her to face Demi. That's why we've got her kind of looking at ringside. But the overness is good. Like any promo between Mayu and Veronica is 100. The overness is like 87, and as I say, she was like in development. She just had the most perfect psychology, star quality, and sex appeal and charisma. So like those attributes were good enough to push her. We just need to hope like I didn't want like the AI kind of develop her in case she was too slow in terms of developing the technical skill set. I just hope we can hopefully push that on the main roster. Like she learns as she goes. I'm going to say this might get like a 78. I think it might flop because of her lack of technical skill. Oh wow. Oh wow, oh wow, oh wow. Did not expect that. So we had a fantastic heat in this matchup. Great wrestling as Veronica defeated Mayu Iwatani in 1850 with a handful of the tights. Obviously, I'm continuing unbeaten run. She's effectively my Goldberg or my Jade Cargill. But 87. So only 67 in terms of in-ring. She's got a long way to go. She's obviously more going to be carried with her popularity. But that's them having great chemistry and that's boosted that. Mayu obviously just so close to a 100, but that's really, really promising because Mayu's still only early 30s, so she's easily got the time to stick around and help Veronica develop. We'll probably take like a 6-month look at her every so often just to see how the stats have improved. A few words after this one, Swerve just says it's time for the Swerve show. You know what I mean? He is now your TNT champion. And everybody tune in to Rampage because whose house is it? Swerve. It's just basically him bragging that he's the champion and that he's going to run amok on Rampage. But good stuff from Swerve, 77. That leads us to our main event, Cody Rhodes, Eddie Kingston, TLC match for the AEW World Championship. I might get an 80 with this one, as I say, they just obviously don't have the psychology for a fantastically great match. But let's have a look. 78, yep. I felt that was going to be the case, but I'll take it. It just basically ends the feud. It does give us a poor show, but that is what it is. It has to be main event. It's the World Championship. Unless you're doing Anarchy in the arena, the championship should always main event. Fantastic heat, good wrestling. Cody Rhodes defeats Eddie Kingston in 13:40 in the Full Metal Mayhem, TLC, whatever you want to call it, when Cody Rhodes retrieves his championship belt. Cody makes the third defence of the belt, 78. Cody getting better at his gimmick. Eddie took a stunt bump, so that's him going to be out of action again for a little bit. And yeah, it is what it is. And Eddie's got declining physical ability. Great. So the show itself actually probably gets more blues than we normally would. But as I say, because the best angle was an 87, and I think we've actually maybe been saved by the fact that our 3 matches leading up to the main event all get like light blues, like 287 and 86 probably saved us there, not 86 there, in the form of Strickland winning the TNT Championship. But as I say, I wanted my championship to go as the main event. I knew I wasn't going to get a 100 with that, but I feel it's put us in a good position with a lot of things going forward. So yeah, that is that for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're looking forward to next week's episode where we'll hit our February pay-per-view, the obviously Romance is Dead event, and then we'll have a full-on women's pay-per-view. I know I said like the championships they will last, but do we put Veronica and Mayu in some sort of gimmick match to main event and then possibly League 2? I think I've got a plan. I'll leave it at that. So thanks for watching, enjoy the rest of your day, check out the Fantasy Booker subreddit and the Grey Dog software forums. And until next time, thanks for watching and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.